Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Katie. This is my 1-month-old Avery. I'm really hoping that she's gonna be like chill and just sit here while I film this. But honestly, you never know with newborns. I feel like when they're in like the newborn stage for like the first 3 months, it's literally just survival. Like there's no routine or schedule or anything. At least for me, like it just doesn't happen like that. But anyways, I really wanted to sit down and film like a 1-month update on how everything's been going since we got home from the hospital and how Avery's been doing and all of that, and just kind of like what our first month together has been like. So she's 1 month and like 4 days or something. So she just barely turned a month. This bouncer is like her favorite thing right now. It's funny because if you guys don't know, I have a 2-year-old too, and her favorite thing was the swing. She absolutely loved her swing. And so it's just funny how every baby is so different. But anyways, as we got home from the hospital, we had her first couple appointments, and at the first one they were a little bit concerned about her weight. However, my milk had not come in yet, and so I just knew like she was only getting colostrum at that point, and so I knew as soon as my milk came in, she would probably start gaining just fine because she is like solely breastfed. She hasn't had any formula. She has taken a couple bottles because I'm trying to introduce her to the bottle a little bit more, so that if I do decide to go out for a night or something like that, she can use my like breast milk that I have stored. I've pumped a couple times. However, I typically have an oversupply, so I'm trying not to pump a ton because pumping typically will like make your body produce more milk, and I already have so much that I don't want, like she drowns. Like when I'm feeding her, she pops off a ton because like there's so much milk coming out. So something that I've like done that helps with that is like if my letdown does happen, like if I can feel my letdown and it starts spraying and she pops off, I'll let her pop off for a second and just pull my bra back up and like let it soak into the pad a little bit, so that or the haka if I have that on the other side. And that's kind of how like I'll get it to slow down a little bit so she can latch back on and continue without choking on it. So that's something that's been helpful. Sorry, the clouds are outside moving around, but that's been something that's helpful. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention was the haka. That's how I've gotten the majority of my milk supply so far in the freezer. And I typically just like freeze 2 ounces at a time because 1, it's easier to thaw that way, but 2, I don't want her drinking more than 2 ounces at a time, especially at this age, because then she'll get used to drinking like 3 or 4 ounces when my body only produces like 2 ounces, if that makes sense. So I don't know, breastfeeding has been going really well. She does still have a little bit of a hard time latching. Like I said, she'll latch and then she'll unlatch and latch and unlatch, but she is still like getting enough milk. She's growing perfectly fine, and she's breastfeeding like really well. So it's just hard because she pops off quite a bit, but it's something we're still working on. She's only 1 month old, so, and she's doing it pretty good so far. It's just my other daughter caught on to it a lot quicker, so something that I'm adjusting to. And then yeah, as far as sleeping goes, she's been sleeping really well. It is weird because she has weird wake windows. Sometimes she'll just wake up for like 10-15 minutes and then she'll go back to sleep, and then other times she's been awake for like a couple hours, which with newborns, you typically don't want them awake for longer than like 40 minutes because then they can get overtired. However, she will not go back to sleep. Like I'll try to feed her, rock her, bounce her, like I'll do all the things, and she's just like awake for a couple hours. And then once she does finally go to sleep, she sleeps for a few hours. So her wake windows are still so weird. Like I said, with newborns, it's literally survival mode. You're on their schedule. There's no creating a schedule yet. So, and I do remember that with my first two. Like I just kind of went with the flow of whatever she was doing. And then once she was around like 3 months, I want to say, is when we kind of started getting her on a schedule. But I really didn't have her on a good schedule until probably about 9 months. So I don't know, and I know that some other parents have their kids on really great schedules right off the bat, but I also want her to be like diverse in the fact that I don't want her only napping in her crib or only napping in the bassinet. I want her to be able to nap like in her car seat, because if I have to go do something one day, I want to be able to throw her in her car seat, let her take a nap in the car while I go run errands or whatever. So I'm trying not to get her too used to anything. But that's another thing I wanted to mention, is I do try to get out of the house quite a bit so that she's used to her car seat, because I know a lot of kids hate their car seats, and so far she really likes hers. So, but she also is like really used to it. And I know a lot of parents choose to like not leave the house for the first little bit, which that's totally up to you. Like do whatever you feel safest, but I feel confident and comfortable taking her out of the house. And so that's been something else that's been really nice, is her getting used to being in the car and being in her car seat. When it comes to like lifting her head and stuff, she's doing really good. I don't do a ton of tummy time with her, because honestly when I lay her flat on her stomach on the ground, she kind of just lays there, like she doesn't even try. But a lot of times I will like set her up on my lap, and I'll kind of like hold her chin like this so that she doesn't like throw herself. But that's kind of been something that we've been working on, like building her neck strength up and stuff. And she'll also like lay on my chest a lot when I'm like laying back in my rocking chair or on the couch or whatever. She'll lay on my chest and kind of do tummy time that way. But she can like completely lift her head and look around now for quite a while. And so she's doing really good with that. I'm trying to think like what else with newborns. She is barely outgrowing newborn size. So she's kind of in 0 to 3, however 0 to 3 is still a little bit big on her, so she's kind of like in between sizes right now, where newborn is almost too small and 0 to 3 is a little too big. But she's like growing so fast. She's definitely out of newborn diapers though. She was out of newborn diapers, I want to say within like the first 2 weeks. I think it was about 2 weeks, and then she had outgrown them already, and so she's in size 1 diapers. And people do say that all the time, like don't stock up on a ton of newborn diapers if you're having a baby, because you will not use them all. Like they usually only in them for a little bit. And same thing with like newborn clothes. You obviously need a few outfits so that they have clothes for the first couple weeks, but they're only in it for a couple weeks. So as far as her umbilical cord goes, it was weird because it fell off on day 6 of her being alive. So like she had only been 6 days old and her umbilical cord already fell off, and I was like, what the heck? Because I feel like with my daughter it took a lot longer. It took her like a couple weeks before it fell off, and hers was like gushy and like there was like liquidy almost. But I talked to her doctor about it, and he gave me the option to cauterize it or just see, like give it a few days, and then if it's still super like wet, then to come back in and he'll cauterize it, which I went with that option. I was like, okay, well like give it a couple days and see how it goes. He did say though that cauterizing it doesn't hurt them whatsoever, and I've heard from multiple people that it doesn't. Like their baby never cried or showed any signs of discomfort while they were getting that done. So I did consider it, but he was like, I feel pretty confident in like letting it be for a little bit. And I don't know what kind of chemicals and stuff they use to cauterize it, so I was like, that was the option that I chose to go with. And after that couple of days it did scab up really well. It is still a scab. And so every time I give her a bath, I kind of like wash around it, and I check to make sure that it doesn't like want to fall off, but it's like just scabbed really well right now. And I'm sure whenever it is ready to come off, it will. They just kind of told me the things to look out for is like if it starts to have like ooey liquid, like pus almost, then to go in, and if it starts to have like an odor or anything like that, to go in. But hers has been fine. Like, so it came off, and then after a couple of days it kind of just like scabbed up, and it's been fine ever since. So we're kind of just rolling with it. Her nursery is where we are currently sitting. However, it's not done yet. It's so close, but I really want to do a nursery tour soon. She is just sleeping in our room because it's just easiest that way. We moved the rocking chair and her changing pad and everything in there, and she just sleeps in a bassinet next to the bed. And she sleeps great. I do sleep her with her hands up. So we did like the Swaddle Me Swaddles for a while, the Velcro ones. We tried that for a few days, but she didn't really love those. She didn't hate them or anything like that, but she does prefer like during the daytime when I'd let her nap, I wouldn't swaddle her, and she always slept with her like hands right here by her face. And so I bought her the Love to Dream sleep sack, and she loves that. So it's a little sleep sack that like lets them put their arms up so that they can like comfort themselves with their hands and stuff still, but it doesn't like it's still like tight and stuff. I don't really know how to explain it, but I did like a bunch of research on it, and it looked like a really good swaddle option. And I also like that because I don't have to try and transition her out of the swaddle, because that was something I had a hard time with my first daughter, was once she could roll over. When your baby can roll over, they typically want you to like take them out of the swaddle, because if they roll over and they're swaddled, they can suffocate because they can't like lift themselves. And so when we had to do that transition with my daughter, it was really hard. So I was like, at least I don't have to transition her out of this one, because her arms are already up by her face, and that's how they're supposed to sleep. once they get a little bit bigger. And so I was like, that's a good thing. But it's, my first daughter absolutely loved being swaddled. Like that was the only way that she would sleep, was completely like velcroed, swaddled tight. But yeah, she sleeps like, usually she'll sleep like for the first like few weeks she was getting up every 2 to 3 hours to eat, and then now she usually sleeps like every 4 hours. So she'll give me like a 4 to 5 hour stretch, and then she'll wake up and eat, and then usually it's a 3 hour stretch, and she'll wake up and eat again, and then she'll go right back down after that. And then usually my toddler will come in around like 7 and come wake me up. So, and she'll usually sleep until like 7 or 8. So she's sleeping really good. She typically only wakes me up twice a night, and she just gets up, eats, and then goes right back down, which is nice. Something that I try to do is only turn on a night light, so like a dim light that's like soft, and then I'll like get her up, change her diaper, and feed her, and like keep the room, like we have a noise machine in there so that like there's not any sudden change of environment, I guess, so to speak. Like I leave her in her swaddle, I like zip it from the bottom so that I don't have to pull her arms out or anything like that, so that hopefully she'll stay tired enough so she'll go right back down after. Another thing that's been a huge difference with Avery versus Paige, which is my first daughter, is that Avery will not take a binky at all. She absolutely hates them. Every time I put one in her mouth, she'll gag on it and spit it out. And I have bought in every single type. We've tried the Tommy Tippy, we've tried the Bips binkies, we've tried the Advent binkies, we've tried the ones that have like the stuffed animal attached to them. There's another one that got sent to us for free that like, I don't remember exactly what kind it was, but it was another different one. Like I've tried all of them, and she's the only ones that I've gotten her to like attach to, like latch onto and like suck on for a little bit, is the Bips ones. Every other one, the Rhine Roads especially, she like hates those. But every other binky she gags on and spits out. Like she wants nothing to do with binkies, which is kind of a bummer for me. I really wanted her, and I'm going to continue to try to give her binkies because it's like such a comfort thing for them. So like if she wakes up in the middle of the night, you can just put a binky in her mouth, she goes back to sleep. And she also doesn't have to comfort suck. Like I hate when she just wants to like sit and suck on my boob even though she's not drinking. She's just like comfort sucking. Like I would much rather her take a binky. And then the other thing that I like was like it reduces the risk of SIDS when they're sleeping and stuff. So it's funny because she wants nothing to do with binkies, absolutely hates them. And my first daughter loved binkies like right out of the womb. Like in the hospital I gave her a binky and she loved it like the entire time. And so it's also funny because they tell you they don't want you to like introduce a binky until 3 weeks because it'll like nipple confusion and stuff like that. But she's actually having a harder time breastfeeding than my daughter did. My daughter like latched and figured it out pretty quickly, and she's still struggling a little bit more. Like I said, she's still doing really good. She doesn't have like a hard time breastfeeding. It's just not as like, she's harder than my first daughter. I don't know how to explain it, but anyways, yep, I'm trying to think like what else there is to like go over. I haven't gone in for another appointment, so I have no clue like how big she is right now, but I do know the last time we went in she was 8 pounds 9 ounces, I want to say, and that was like at 2 weeks old. So she has gotten all of her tests done. Everything has come back completely normal, like her hearing screen, her blood tests, like all of that has come back normal, which I'm extremely grateful. Like I'm so glad that I have a healthy baby. But yeah, she's honestly been so good. She's very chill most of the time. During her wake windows, it kind of depends. Like she'll either want to be held or she'll want to be in her bouncer. And the only thing I hate about the bouncer is like you have to manually bounce it. It doesn't bounce by itself. Whereas with the swing, I would just set Paige in the swing and it would swing, and then she'd be completely fine and just chill. So that's the only thing that's kind of annoying about the bouncer, but she loves it. Okay, are you starting to wake up? She has so much hair, you guys can see, and it's funny because she has so much hair in the back and on the sides, but on the top she doesn't have a ton. It's like more bald on the top, which is funny because Paige was like, she had super dark hair like this too. If you guys don't know, if you guys don't follow my channel, my toddler is blonde now, but Paige also had super dark hair out of the womb, and so it's just kind of funny. I'm intrigued to see like how she grows up to like what she grows up to look like, I guess. But yeah, she's so tiny. Like everyone always says that whenever they see her, they're like, oh my gosh, she's so much tinier in person. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But yeah, honestly, she's doing really well. I'm glad that she's just now starting to wake up. she's doing so good. We love her so much. Like, I don't really know what else to say, but that's a little 1 month update with our little Avery bug. She's just so precious, huh? And we haven't really had any problems with her either. Like, she eats fine, she sleeps good, she poops and pees regularly. Like, everything's been really easy so far. Easy as easy as it can be with a newborn, but I feel very blessed. And so anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to my channel to see more of my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully it will be a nursery tour, or like that will be coming up this week, a nursery tour, because I want to get it done. But anyways, see you guys in my next one.